Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another edition of the Mandatory Live. Remember, if you like the content, hit that like and subscribe button. Also, follow us on our social media channels. We're at the Mandatory TKO. We're also on the audio side. So find us there as well, wherever you get your shows, podcasts. Leave a rate and review. Also, give us a 5-star because that does help the channel grow. And if you've already done that, thank you so much. We appreciate you rocking with us. We got some special stuff coming to you next week. An interview. Should we announce it?
No.
Not yet. Okay, we
Mm-mm.
can't announce it yet.
It's a world champion.
Yes. And it's actually probably one of the best interviews we've done. By the way, if
Yeah.
you haven't checked out our interviews, go check them out because we have a whole folder on YouTube. Just saying, there's some gems on there. But we got a surprise coming next week. But before we can't even get into that because it's a surprise. So this is the tease for it. But we got a pretty decent weekend coming up. But the biggest news of before we head into the weekend, of course, Easter weekend, happy Easter, y'all, is Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda has officially been announced. It'll be in New York City, July 12th. Bryan, your thoughts? And did they say the venue yet?
That's what's worrying me here, actually. All right. So for those watching, we have the article here. This is via who else? Ring, because, well, they're taking a stranglehold on the sport, obviously, and Shakur Stevenson is a big part of that. They just poached Mike Coppinger also from ESPN. So they wanted to get a newsbreaker
Oh
here.
wow, I didn't know they just got Coppinger. That's huge.
Very recently. Very
Yeah,
recently,
that's awesome.
actually. So I
So they're getting
suppose.
some big names. I mean, I
Nice.
mean, Coppinger is a reliable source, a very reliable source.
Many would say that, not all, but many would say that. But I agree. Like, look, Coppinger does real reporting, and in boxing, you don't get much of that anymore.
There's a
Okay.
lot of bullshit. There's a lot of bullshit out there, and Coppinger's like pretty legit, dude. He's legit,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So we're gonna make this a little narrower just because so I could read it on my screen, but we're not gonna read through the whole thing, but just know the interesting things here because again, press releases are fucking boring. So we're gonna go through this efficiently. Shakur Stevenson, the ring's number 4 boxer at 135 pounds, which is noteworthy there. This is his third defense of his WBC title, and this is going to be close to Newark. This is going to be in New York City. There's no venue announcement as far as I know, which means could mean a couple different things, Chantel. It made me think of what this experiment that's happening in May, and if it works, maybe they double back and like, all right, well, let's try this with Shakur Stevenson.
That would be terrible. I'm sorry. That would be the most terrible thing they could do. Nobody would care.
The
Maybe that's a
weather,
good thing though. Maybe that's a good thing though, because like
the weather
Times
will be
Square is
hot.
packed anyways.
I
Yeah.
also like we'll talk about. There's a Jake Paul, Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor piece to this that we should extrapolate on as well. They mentioned here who replaced that he beat Padley, replaced Floyd Schofield, who's in the news again, allegedly rejected a 2.5 or requested a $2.5 million offer to fight. I don't even think it was Keyshawn Davis. It was Abdullah Mason. And reportedly, he was offered 1.1 to fight Shakur Stevenson and wants more than double to fight Abdullah Mason, which
He has a
I
lot
think
more to lose against Abdullah Mason, right? Because, like, let's be serious here. I like Floyd a lot, and I've been on record saying that. I think Shakur would definitely get the best of him because he's young, but Abdullah Mason is a different beast.
but that off that whole that's bullshit.
Yeah.
2.5 like request. Kermel Moton prospect tweeted out, and by the way, he has a fight coming up actually on the Caleb Plant card reportedly in May. Um, Kermel Moton tweeted out, pricing yourself out is another form of ducking, and I agree with that.
Yeah, I
It's like if
agree.
you really don't want to do something, you'll ask for a ridiculous amount of money, and you can make the Monty Williams mistake of taking the job anyway because they give you the ridiculous amount and then you do a shitty job, you're laughed at, you get paid for a year, and then you're cut. And he's probably still getting paid, so he's laughing to the bank at least. But it was just a waste of everyone's fucking time. But now the Pistons are good. Anyway, I sound like a Pistons fan there, which I'm not.
Just a great run for them. Just a great turnaround for the franchise. This is not about basketball, though.
Nixon 6. Zepeda here listed number 5 lightweight division by Ring Magazine. So that's very interesting here. I would assume the top 3 in no particular order would be Gervonta Davis, Vasily Lomachenko, and Keyshawn Davis, who has a title right now, maybe in that other spot. I don't know if they've ranked Lamont Rose Jr. yet. I haven't looked at the ring rankings.
Yeah.
Uh, Professional broadcaster. And then over here we have just, just more bullshit, whatever, whatever. But the whole point of going through this is just to see that this is in New York, right here. The Ring has learned, as if, the Ring wouldn't report on their own Ring card. Like, the Ring has learned that we learned ourselves that we're going to promote this fucking show on July 12th. Yeah. We just learned of that we're gonna do it. That's fucking stupid. Whatever. It's like this is happening July 12th. July 11th, which is a Friday night, at the Garden, not the theater, as far as I know, the Garden. Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano 3, along with a stacked card, including Alicia Baumgartner, including Tamara Tabalt, including a lot of like just great women in the sport. And then this comes the day after, which means two key points. And I want to toss this to you, Shantelle. We have multiple fight cards in the same city on back-to-back days, which means there's going to be fight week events for each event that week. And the way it would normally work for people who don't know this, listening or watching, and thank you, comment as always, super chat as always, we will get to them. What normally happens is if the fight's Saturday, the press, they'll do like a media workout, whatever, Wednesday. The press conference will be Thursday, weigh-ins Friday. And if the fight's Friday, then all that gets bumped up a day. So media workout maybe Tuesday if they have one, press conference Wednesday, and weigh-in Thursday. And they're probably going to set it up at a time, or actually, no, this is what I want to ask you. Do you think Ring Magazine will set these up at a time to where these two events throughout the week are going head to head? Or will they try to, maybe do it before, do it after? What do you think?
They have to try to do it before and after. Now, the difference of this whole thing is the fact that they are a day apart. So they don't have to be at the same time. But there's going to be same event, like similar, there's going to be events on the same day. That's what I will say. Now, can media and fans get out to these events at the same time? Where are they going to be? New York City is a big city.
So this is what I think. New York is big, but at the same time, like it's not like,
yeah.
If you get media choosing, because this is the thing. This is why I think they could actually go head to head at some of these events. Because like,
wait, I just don't think it would be smart to go head to head. But that's all I'm saying.
I don't. Smart is overrated in this context. I don't know if they're trying to be smart. I think they're probably looking at Jake Paul's event, because Jake Paul is not going to, like, they're separate from the Saudis.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, they're probably
they don't even like each other. They don't even like each other.
Yeah, we've talked about the possibility of them going head to head. So it's like, all right, if this is going to happen for real, I wouldn't be surprised if we look at the fight week schedules and then it's like Thursday, as Serrano, Taylor, and everyone else are having their weigh-ins. They're doing the press conference for the Shakur Stevenson Zepeda card. We don't know like what else that's going to entail. Like, I wouldn't be surprised that they're doing that. And honestly, I'm slightly like, I'm a little surprised that this is announced for the day after instead of the day of, just because it's like, if you wanted it to be competition and have people make a choice, I'll tell you right now, I'm Taylor Serrano 3 all day. And I think they probably know that. They probably know, like, yeah, if we're going up against Taylor Serrano 3 with Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda, no disrespect, but more people are going to want to see Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano 3.
Here's how I look at it. Jake Paul actually transcends boxing, whether you like him or not. This is going to be on Netflix. The numbers on Netflix are going to be absolutely bananas. This is Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor 3. It's in New York. We know what happened the first time, if you didn't hop on the second time, because it was on Netflix and more people got to see it. Casual fans were like, those women really put on a great show. No, this is the third fight. This is going to be massive. And the card is stacked with amazing women. Alicia Baumgartner's the co-main, right? We're going to see Alicia Baumgartner again. Now, here's the thing. If I'm Turk, though, and knowing Turk, I bet you this card is going to be dope. I hate to say it, but it might, because it's not in Saudi, so we're not going to get like those like weird-ish fights. Come on, man. He's probably going to put on a good card, because let's also be serious. Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda is a good fight. Now, here's the thing. This is a really good comment here by IMPK13, one of our very good friend, longtime friends of the show. I want to see winner of Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda versus Tank. Now, this is the interesting part. I'll say it right here. If Tank fights Zepeda, Zepeda will be on his ass in the first 6 rounds.
By
right?
the way,
That's a dub. That's a dub for Tank, right? Really quick.
It's not official. It's been long rumor though that Tank will fight Lamont Roach at some point this summer. June was reported. Different venues have been reported. I don't think anything's official in that regard yet. But we're still looking to have that rematch. Or to see that rematch
Can we
first.
confirm this? Jay Will, thank you for dropping a comment.
No, this is out. This is out. We'll
Okay.
talk. We'll get to that, Jay Will. But thank you for bringing that up. But I do have the Jake Paul, not card because it's just 2 fights, but on June 28th, and we should probably talk about this.
Hold up, Jay Will. I'm just not into women combat, but wish them the best. Jay Will, give it a shot. Did you watch the Katie Taylor Amanda Serrano fights? Like, I think it's great boxing. Also,
it's
go
way
watch
more interesting than Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda is going to be. Let's actually talk about this fight real quick.
Okay.
We could get the press release the fuck out of here. So, William Zepeda, Shakur Stevenson. Zepeda has been the interim champion for a minute. He had to beat Tevin Farmer twice, and
maybe lost twice. I don't know.
I was gonna say, he didn't beat him convincingly either time. And listen, I have a lot of love for Tevin Farmer. He's the first boxer I ever did a profile on. So this is in 2016. This is before he fought Ivan Redcash in July of 2016 at Barclays Center. This was on the card that included as the main event Leo Santa Cruz, Carl Frampton. Fucking good fight. Great card. We talked with Lou DiBella about this here because he promoted that card. And that was when Brooklyn boxing was like really a thing at Barclays that we would see damn near every month, because that was 1 month after Thurman Porter. You know what I mean? Errol Spence came to Brooklyn the next month at the Coney Island Ford Amphitheater, which is one of the worst venues to ever hold a boxing event. They haven't done one since. Anyway, so Tevin Farmer against William Zepeda. And it's like, respectfully, if you can't beat Tevin Farmer at this stage convincingly, either fight. Like, you could that's not to say he lost both or won both or whatever. I thought he lost the first one, definitely. I think he has a better case of winning the second time around. But if you can't beat him convincingly, because both fights are very close, you don't stand a chance against Shakur Stevenson, who's basically a better version of Tevin Farmer. Does all the same shit that Tevin Farmer does, but is unfortunately he throws a lot less at times, or just throws less. I won't say a lot less. I might be pushing it, but it's a better, just better, younger. You know what I mean? At this stage of his career comparatively. But it's to say, if Tevin Farmer is giving Shakur Stevenson the blueprint on how to neutralize William Zepeda, Shakur Stevenson is just going to run laps around this dude. Maybe literally to some people, and beat his ass for, I don't know if he's going to beat his ass, but he'll outpoint him convincingly for 12 rounds.
Well, I don't even think Shakur Stevenson needs the blueprint. The blueprint's out there on William Zepeda, and William Zepeda had a chance to prove himself again in that rematch against Tevin Farmer, and some people thought Tevin Farmer won. I think Tevin Farmer definitely won the first one. I wasn't mad at Zepeda winning the second one, but I think it could have gone either way. Here's the thing. Shakur Stevenson is going to dominate this fight, and it might bore the hell out of you. And what I mean by that is William Zepeda is going to come forward. Shakur Stevenson is going to duck and dodge everything that Zepeda throws at him, get to the body, land his shots. It's not going to be a pretty fight. It's not going to be a fun fight where you're going to be like tied to the TV, because Shakur Stevenson is probably not going to want to also take those chances with Zepeda. Zepeda does got a little bit of pop. We haven't really seen it like that, but he throws a lot and he stalks you. Shakur Stevenson is not going to really engage in this fight the way that we probably want him to. And that's okay, because what is boxing about? You want to hit people. You don't want to get hit. Mm-hmm. And Shakur Stevenson does that really well. Whether you like his style or not, he's going to dominate this fight. He's going to win every round, Bryan. I'm telling you right now. He's too smart. The IQ is too high. And the fans are not going to be as entertained. And we're going to come back and we're going to be like, that wasn't as entertaining, but Shakur Stevenson's going to get the dub. I'm telling you right now, the most entertaining fight that weekend Katie Taylor and Matt Serrano. I'm telling you right
But
here, but
and by the way, that's fine. Like to me, this isn't a diss to Shakur Stevenson.
no, he's
It's
that good, dude.
yeah,
Like,
that's what it is, and it's really a stylistic thing. It's like dudes like William Zepeda, like you have to catch someone like Shakur, and it's just very very hard to do. You
not
know,
gonna do it, dude.
Unless William Zepeda has more in his toolbox that we haven't seen. Which look, that could happen sometimes. Like people didn't think Rayo Valenzuela, for example, was going to box Isaac Cruz the way he did. We talked about the possibility. We were
But
like,
here's the
man,
thing. Ryo was
yeah.
actually trying to engage. Like we know Shakur, we've seen him fight. We know he's not going to engage as much. Like it's and that's just his style. We wish that he would throw more. We wish he would throw his power a little bit more because like look at his build. Like he's going to grow into that. He's still growing into the guy he's going to be in terms of power. But he's not going to try to go head to head with Zepeda in this fight. We know that.
I
But
don't for this fight.
he
I don't
doesn't
think he
have to.
should. I don't think
No,
he
he no.
should either.
He should
Like
no, like he's smart about it.
Zepeda has to make him fight. And if Zepeda's not good enough to make him fight, then Shakur Stevenson could just sit back and counter him all
Bruh.
day. Then fine. Like that.
Bruh, just give us Shakur and Tank. Like Shakur, like I'm telling, no disrespect to Zepeda, but there's levels to this. And after what I saw against Tevin Farmer, bruh, you might lose every round. I
I'm
hate
fine
to
with the
say
fight
it.
though. I'm fine with
I
the
know,
fight.
I love the fight. I love the fight. I love
Because
it for Shakur and I love it for Zepeda. I just know
Zepeda
what's gonna happen.
Zepeda's legitimately earned it. He's the interim champion. He's been the interim champion. Shakur has actually been wanting this, he says, for a long time. And I'm curious about the venue. I'm very curious about the venue. Like
Is it the theater?
they're just
Is it? Because
I don't
like,
think
come on.
I don't think TKO. I don't think we can call it TKO yet. I don't think Ring Magazine
Can I
because
ask you
they're
something
not
before you
doing
get
a
into
TKO
this?
yet.
Let me
Go
ask you
ahead.
something.
Yeah, sure.
Because it's William Zepeda. William Zepeda has a lot of fans, right? Like you know how Mexican fans are. They support. His
Mhm.
style is fun. Maybe not against Shakur.
It was
With this,
against Gio Cabrera, which was a little
it,
surprising.
yeah.
I didn't think he'd knock out Gio Cabrera like
Do
that
you
early.
do you think this fight would have made more sense in Vegas? Because I think it would have.
No, because I
Well,
think
Shakur's from like he's from Newark, right?
yeah,
But at the same time, like Zepeda has a lot of fans, and it's like where are they going to have this?
We got mad Mexicans in New York,
No, I'm not saying y'all
right?
don't. I'm not saying y'all don't, but like the way they show up on the West Coast, because let's just say Vegas is West Coast, like
But the problem with that is then if Ring is invested in Shakur Stevenson becoming a draw, which is why I don't understand why they just stuffed them into like the third to last fight on that card that was supposed to be the greatest card of all time that wasn't. But like if Shakur Stevenson's going to be a draw, I
yeah.
think you have to do it in. I actually think you need New York
Well,
because
that's it. Well, that's the point I'm trying to make, Brian.
there's a ceiling
That's
there's a
yeah.
ceiling in Newark. They already booed him there, but like
Booed in his hometown. No, but that's the point I'm trying to make. So this is what I'm trying to say. If you're banking on Shakur to be a draw and to be that guy, and you need to have it in New York, I'm sorry, but that's not a pull. That's not a draw. Because if you are that big, you can sell out anywhere. Like you can sell in Vegas, dude.
he's not though. And
Yeah,
and we talk about this all the time. Like what boxers are
Tank,
Canelo
Canelo,
Alvarez, Tank,
Bud. And
and
let's be serious, Spence was doing it at Cowboy Stadium. Like Spence has a big name. Texas has a big following there.
Spence was a bigger name than Crawford was at the time they fought, and it shifted once Crawford beat his ass.
Yeah,
But Spence
facts.
was like the bigger name at the time.
A lot of people thought Spence was going to win.
Spence
Like
had
I
more
remember that fight.
Spence had more fans at the events. There were a lot of
Yeah,
people with the fish shirts and shit. And I
yeah.
was like, y'all are gonna be disappointed because he's not beating this dude.
No, not
You
at
know,
all.
like
People were looking at the Bud fans like we were crazy.
and part of that is also like the competition they had
The
leading up. Like
the resumes.
Spence beat the better dudes, but a lot of people would say on Terrence Crawford's behalf, like that's a top ranked thing. And I would say,
And also,
I would say,
Bud
I
was
would say
stopping
it's
everybody
also
though. Bud
yeah,
was stopping
but I
everybody.
was
That's the difference.
I would also say it's a WBO thing because look at who some of his mandatory challengers were at the time he was a champion, you know. But when you're with Top Rank, like the WBO is likely where you go. Okay, we got to some comments about this because we've been talking for a minute. IMPK, you already put that one up. I want to see the winner of Stevenson Zepeda versus Tank. I think many of us do. I just don't think that's going to happen. At least like we need to see Tank versus Roach first. So hopefully end of the year, but I mean, it'd be shocking to see anyone fight 3 times in a year anymore.
Before we move
Um,
on, I also think depending on what happens with Tank and Roach, say if Tank and Shakur doesn't happen, because sometimes it doesn't happen in boxing, and we get Tank and Loma instead or something like that, Shakur and Roach would be a good fight.
Yes, and I think Shakur said that he would do it. I remember him tweeting that out. Like if the rematch is because Shakur just wants to fight. I legitimately think Shakur is tired of all this bullshit and people just sort of like talking about him the way they do and denigrating him. Like I'm
Yeah.
sure he wouldn't be thrilled with the conversation we're having to some extent, even though a lot of it is praise just in a sort of roundabout way. But at the same time, I think he wants a big fight to show people like, no, I'm really that dude. Like I
Yeah.
believe him when he says that. So he probably looks at Lamont Roach and it's like, wow, he drew with Tank. And if I could beat this dude, then that puts me here. And listen, I think he's as talented as we have at 135. It's just, I think Tank, for now at least, we'll see how the rematch goes with Roach. But I think Tank is still like probably one. And we have to see where Loma is and how Keyshawn.
I think Loma's being fed to the wolves now at this point, but Loma can beat anybody, which is
He
unfortunate.
hasn't
Here's the
fought.
one thing
Remember,
I'll say though. This is the
I'd
one
like him
thing.
to be fed to somebody. He hasn't fought.
Well, he said he was going to take a break. Remember, he was supposed to fight
It's
Tank. There
been a
was
year.
negotiations. Well, actually, the negotiations were happening around like October, November.
It's been about a year since we've seen Lomachenko. Like, how much more
Yeah,
time
well,
do you
since we've
need?
seen him in the ring. But I will say one thing is that I agree with Afro Soul, and I'm just saying this right now.
Mhm.
Shakur beats every single one of those guys from 135 to 140. They will keep ducking him, unfortunately. So the only guy that I'm like unsure in that fight is Shakur and Tank, but I think Shakur beats everybody, and I think Shakur could go undefeated like Mayweather and have an O. I really do. That's how good Shakur Stevenson is.
I,
And the thing is, a lot of people just don't rock with his style. That's all it is.
uh-huh.
It's the style. But if you actually look at the way Shakur boxes, it's beautiful. The dude is talented. And I've said on this show before, I think Shakur Stevenson could go undefeated and never lose because that's how good he is. And I know that's crazy,
He's
but
great. Shakur's great. Honestly, he's super talented. I was high on him from the Olympics from before that, actually. Because I thought he could have won gold, and he almost did. XL says now if Shakur gives us a snooze fest against Zepeda, they should just give him the loss. It depends on how it goes. Like it could be Zepeda just doing the same shit over and over and telegraphing everything, and Shakur's just like, all right, like I'm just gonna break you down the way I do everyone else.